What's up with y'all? It's your boy Dan Jones, one half of the greatest podcast in the world, the Two Fat Guys podcast. I mean, you know what? I apologize. Let me bring that back, like I usually said. What's up with y'all? It's your guy Dan Jones, one half of the greatest podcast in the world. Say it with me one time if you mean it. The Two Fat Guys podcast. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Took a couple weeks off. Upper respiratory infection. I'm sorry. Shout out to my boy Crazy Kev. Been holding it down with our special guest, Big Nah, Miss Chris. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Your boy is back. We here, getting it in on my segment of this show, Daniel's Lions Den. That's pretty much saying I'm calling people out on their bullshit. Not even gonna lie to you. Calling people out on your bullshit. The whole situation's gonna be thrown in the Lions Den and get ate up by my cats. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is. I'm calling you out on certain things that happen in pop culture. And it's going to be addressed like this one right now. I'm about to address that it happened on Monday Night Raw on Netflix, live on Netflix. Ha! It was funny as hell to me, I'll tell you that much. Woo! I think Triple H is petty. I think he's petty for this. But somebody came out, the music hit, bow! The first two notes, everybody was good. Jimmy Hart came out waving the flag. Good old red, white, and blue stars and stripes. Who came out with it? He could have stayed home. We're talking about the immortal Hulk Hogan. Judging by the way he's walking, he's mortal as hell. That left foot was not pivoting when he was walking. And however, me saying this is for one reason only. My boy, you got booed out the building. I don't know what you thought was going to happen. You were just going to strut down here in LA, out of all places, in quote unquote blue country. Walk in here and expect to stand an ovation because you're Hulk Hogan. That name does not mean anything to nobody anymore. And I'm gonna put this out there. It's not because of your political beliefs. Some of it is what you said at the political party, at DT's political party, but most of it is what you said in these audio tapes that was quote unquote leaked out. You know what I'm saying? In case y'all didn't know, a couple racial slurs have been out here for my guy, Mr. Hulk Hogan here, Mr. Terry Beluga Well Hogan. Excuse me, whatever his name supposed to be. Appreciate it though. Couple racial allegations were put out on some tapes. He was talking to somebody on the phone, as well as there's been previous members, former members of the roster, who have said that he's taking shots using the NIG word a couple times. Yeah, how about them apples? Mr. Real American here. So he came out, tried to do his whole little shtick. You know what you gonna do, Netflix and Raw. And he happens the nerve, he has the nerve to try to rip the shirt off. First of all, he struggled. He struggled with a cotton shirt, ripping it. And it's already pre-cut for you to rip it. I don't know what happened. Uh, on that note alone, I was like, okay, this is gonna be funny. The crowd booed him so bad because of this. When he walked off, he ain't fully ripped the shirt off. It was hanging by his ankles, like he just got out the bathroom. Like, bro, you were done for. You were done for. The best part about that segment was Jimmy Hart waving the flag. Like Jimmy Hart came out, he could have just had the little intercom, the bullhorn. We'd have been fine. We didn't need you, bro. What you did in the past is what you did in the past. And quite frankly, they always tell you your past comes back to your future to damage it. So be careful what you do. What you did in the past, when I say by that, means your wrestling career. Let's be honest, back then, you wrestled with that belt, very slim to none. But however, I will be extra honest here, if I may. Extra honest is even a phrase. It is today. Majority of your fans, my boy, are my complexion. Were my complexion. Majority of your fans. I know a lot of people in these urban communities. I know a lot of people I grew up with in the urban communities in Baltimore City that have said and had your wrestling men, they've had your belt. They've even worn your shirt to school, my boy. We've all did it. People wanted to be you for show and tell. Firemen, wrestling firemen, policemen. I mean, doctors, nurses, Hulk Hogan. Like, what? Well, I've even had the wrestling buddy. It was only 3 wrestling buddies that was allowed in the neighborhoods I grew up in. Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, King Kong Bundy, and every now and then a Roddy Piper. Every now and then. Your segment. Let me get back on track. That track. My boy, what you said on them tapes can't be undone. Especially for the role that you play in this world, in this entertainment spectrum, this part of the earth that you were in, that you played your part in. For what you said on them tapes, washes all that away. You can't erase that. There is no amount of an apology that's going to take that back. And you have apologized. And there's people to this day that walk around you and look at you and will not even acknowledge you, my boy. You went too far. I know a couple wrestlers, Hall of Famers, who was like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with you. What you said can't be undone. Because people looked up to you. What you said can't be undone, my boy. You said that N-word too frequently. That shouldn't even been a part of your vocabulary. People of this skin color, this skin tone, loved you, man. My dad spent the $15 to come down there to the Civic Center or Baltimore Arena to come and see you. I went to these shows. I went to the Great American Bash. I went to the Super Brawls. I went to the Saturday night main events. I went to all those. My family brought me down there. Let's go see Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Let's go see Roddy Piper. Let's go see these guys. We went down there, man. We was good. We seen the bullshit movies. We seen the Suburban Commando. That's all we're going to talk about with Suburban Commando. We're done with that. We seen the Thunder in Paradise. When you supposed to be with the Marine guy on the boat. The boat was the hardest part of the show. You on Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers. Sorry for people that don't know. That came on right after wrestling, right after Monday Nitro on Thursdays. No, Thunder. Right after Thunder. You see what I'm saying? You had WCW Thunder, and right after was the Thunder in Paradise. With the terrible catchphrase, Thunder in Paradise. Like, we know this stuff. Mr. Mom, good God Almighty. We sat there and watched these shows because it was Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's making movies. You opened the door for a lot of wrestlers to make movies. Let's not get it twisted. You opened that door. But what pissed me off is when Michael Cole was like, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. That's cap. If it wasn't for the people who put you in position to do them things that you've done, we wouldn't have been here. We wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Gorilla Monsoon, if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, if it wasn't for Andre the Giant, who allowed you to pick his big ass up. He held his weight, and you still couldn't lift him up. You barely did it. You said it yourself. You felt your back cracking. You know why? Because you shouldn't have picked him up. He made you famous. If we take words from The Undertaker, he made you famous. You'd have just been a dude walking around in the white trunks, slamming people, doing the leg drop, pointing the finger, shaking the head. You'd have been a B-plus player at the end of the day. You'd have been B-plus. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for that slam, you would have just been Hulk Hogan. That's it. Then what else did you bring to the table? You can rip a shirt. You can do a leg drop. You can do a slam or two. You can get the crowd behind you. You can do promo work. People before you, people set you up in that area for you to be immortal Hulk Hogan. You were immortal because you're the only one that slammed Andre the Giant. You were immortal because, quote unquote, your legacy will live on forever. Your wrestling attributes will. But for people to say that if it wasn't for you, I call cap. We're going to be completely honest here. I don't even like that phrase when people say it if it wasn't for you. Somebody put you in that situation in order for it to be you. Yeah. Yeah, if you went by acknowledging it, you have. But it wasn't you. Those allegations, those tapes are going to be immortal forever. Your career in WWE, this hit right here that you took live on Netflix, that's immortal right there. Hell, I'm gonna go after this, finish this show. I'm gonna watch it again because your facial expression trying to get through that promo, selling your beer, advertising your beer, and had to know to throw Netflix in there. Then Triple H and Petty, you probably the backstage of Gorilla, like, damn, that's crazy. And then when he got back there, you were like, you all right, bro? You good? You sure? You sure? All right. Pleasure having you. Take a couple pictures. Go about your business. Hey, you are who you are. But you got to own that for the rest of your life. Go back to Florida. Be done with wrestling. Like, your fans don't want to see you no more. Live your life in Florida at your merch shop with your family. Go on the water. Go surfing. Live your life. You got your rings. You got your NWO ring. You got your ring. Congratulations. That's you. But at that DT party, along with them audio allegations, what you did at the DT convention, DT as in Donald Trump, what you said playing on this lady's nationality was one thing. You don't know whether you should body slam her or give her a leg drop. You know what I mean? Or you didn't know whether she was Native American or African American or whichever one of the ones you said. You, bro, that's not wasn't even called for. Her nationality, her color wasn't even called for. You just added more gas to the fire that was already built on you. In which the fire that was built on you didn't just recently start. Where it is, you had other racial encounters with former WWF and WCW stars. So this is not the first time this has happened. This is the first time you've been caught. Let's be honest, first time you've been caught. And it's come to light. Now I'm quite sure it's been other instances with other wrestlers back in the day. But we can't tell. Yours came out, my boy. It's been quote unquote leaked. Don't understand that one, but hey, it is what it is. So for that, Hulk Hogan, you're thrown in the lion's den. You'll never play on nobody's culture or their color or what you want them to be ever again. Oh, this is a lesson to you. Watch your mouth. The next person I want to talk about in this situation with the Lions Den for my first episode, I gotta address it. It's been asked for me to address it, in my opinion. We're talking about Sony selling the rights back to Marvel. Let's be honest, the damage is already done. I know people like, no, Marvel can bounce back from what's been going on. You can, but it's going to take time. When I say damage, I mean Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. Everything that comes with Spider-Man, Sony had the rights for. That means all the villains, all the family members, all the people that are in the Spider-Man universe, Sony had under their hand. Morbius, whack movie. Commercial was better than the movie. Craven, commercial was better than the movie. You know what I mean? Madam Web, which is probably the best movie out of all of it. Because all the movies, when they came out, did poor. Out of them three movies, Madam Web is the best. Then you got Venom, the highly anticipated Venom. The Last Dance. Bullshit. Called it. It was whack. It did its box office numbers in the opening week. But that was it. You made all these movies without a Spider-Man. All these villains without a Spider-Man. Because in your contract, you couldn't use this Spider-Man over the amount of times they couldn't use their Spider-Man. They as an MCU. The petty part about it is if Spider-Man was even in the MCU that's not a standalone movie, y'all counted it. So let's just say the right was you can't use Spider-Man more than for 3 times. You can only use him 3 times. So now we make a Deadpool Wolverine movie. There's a picture in the background with Iron Man, Tony Stark hugging Peter Parker, aka Tom Holland, and he using the helmet, his Iron Man helmet, to cover up Spider-Man. Because if he was shown in that movie, y'all would have considered it Spider-Man being in the movie, and that knocks down one of the times we get to see Spider-Man, which is crazy. Like, you do this, it's a petty move. You restructure this move, this contract, so you can literally do whatever you want with this character within a certain amount of time. You can make all these movies that are based on Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is not in them. Excuse me. You can throw hints at a Spider-Man, but you can't put Spider-Man in them. But you could have. But the Spider-Man that y'all don't want nobody to use is the Tom Holland. Come on now. All these movies that we done put out over the years, the Morbius, the Venom, the Craven, were all structured around Tom Holland. Or at least so they seem. Because they're in this time frame, but you didn't want to use them. Because you couldn't use them. Because you had to put out your own movie. Y'all agreed to put out the villains. And y'all trashed them. You made Venom happy-go-lucky guy. We did all this just to turn around and sell it back to Marvel. The damage has been done. Marvel has to get its team of writers together to restructure the Spider-Man franchise. We have to base it off of the Spider-Man we got now after he gave away the suits, after the snap, well, the spell from No Way Home. So all these villains that we got now are going to have to be restructured around that one, which is the only safe move that Marvel has when it comes to that. They can restructure all these villains, already put them out there. That's the only way. And based on the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, they can use that as a platform too, but the cartoon version. Sony's best movie was Madam Web. Perfect timing on everything. The birth of Peter Parker. You seen Uncle Ben. You seen Aunt May in their younger stages in their life. When we see Aunt May, Uncle Ben is already dead. He's already dead. And now Peter Parker's in high school. So within that time frame, Uncle Ben died. Don't know if it was freshman year or right before he got to high school, like 7th, 8th grade. Somewhere along that line, Peter Parker died. Uncle Ben died. Which gave it enough time for him to be bit by the spider and then do his thing. Since rumor has it that in Iron Man 2, the little boy with the Iron Man hat on was Peter Parker, which also runs into the same time of Madam Web, the time frame that Madam Web has. This is what, if people actually paid attention to Madam Web and put these movies together, Madam Web kicked off everything. The time frame was perfect. The birth of Peter Parker was perfect. Everything lined up with Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man. But they didn't want to acknowledge it. All the pieces started slowly coming together. But the writing on Madam Web is what messed it up. The dialogue. The villain that was in it. Like, what is the villain? We didn't really know that much about the villain. I feel as though there was a lot of stuff still on the floor after they got finished editing the movie. I feel as though this movie should have been a lot longer than what it was. This movie should have been at least 3 hours. To tell a real Madam Web movie, to explain everything. If they wanted to put Peter Parker in there exactly, that's what they should have did. That's how it should have been. A 3-hour movie. Going in, perfect writing. You got Madam Web set up already. She's done. She knows. She works with Uncle Ben. She knows Aunt May. She basically knows everything already. She gets into an accident in the water. All of a sudden, she's a clairvoyant. Because she also had a situation going to find her mom in the jungle where she winds up getting bit, but not in the way we all thought. She winds up losing her sight, some kind of doing the final battle, not telling them more of the movie. Go see it. It's actually a decent damn movie. What I don't like is the bad play that it got. Just like the Marvels. These are two movies people said wasn't too good in the movie theater, but when you go back on Disney Plus, the Marvel is one of the highest streamed movies on Disney Plus. Madam Web was one of the highest streamed movies on Netflix for about 3-4 weeks. These movies were actually good. Madam Web, Peter Parker timeline, added up to when he was a younger kid at the Stark Expo, the little kid with the Iron Man mask on and went up to Iron Man and did this with his hand thingamabob. It would have been, rumor has it would have been him. Somewhere along the line, he went somewhere at another Stark Expo, got bit by a spider. One of Tony Stark's spiders. That's probably why Tony Stark, well, Iron Man, was so close, he already knew who Spider-Man was. When he went to go recruit him in Civil War, he already knew who he was. We'll follow him on YouTube. He did that already. He's watching this kid closely. He knew exactly where he lived at. Even knew the aunt's name. Sat there eating goddamn cookies for his aunt, with his aunt, before Peter Parker even walked into the room. You seen Civil War. It was there. This Peter Parker timeline from Madam Web goes all the way through to Civil War, all the way through to No Way Home. Set up him perfectly. They'd have did it right. We'd have followed Peter Parker from birth all the way to now. But they didn't, because they decided to put out the other movies first. You throw us out here with Morbius. Give us that. Why, I don't know. And I thought Morbius was a good movie to an extent. More could have been done. It dragged out. Kraven the Hunter. You thought making this a rated R movie was going to be the best thing smoking for Sony. Wrong. Couple killing, people getting stabbed in the face. The movie was glitching in the movie. How are you glitching in the movie? We got pictures of people walking through the wall during the movie. How, Sway? So we put out a 95% complete movie and thought it was going to do numbers. People critique these movies for a living. You putting out this garbage and let people know, hey, I got power over here. I'm going to throw out these characters. For instance, in these movies alone from Sony, Kraven the Hunter has Rhino, has Chameleon, hell, it has Kraven. Morbius has Vulture and Scorpion. Come on now. What's this? Venom had Carnage. All these Spider-Man affiliated characters, aka the Sinister Six. We even had Lizard Man in here. What are we doing? Now them characters can't be used until Marvel gets the rights back. We can't even mention these characters. We got to make a whole new person to be Lizard Man. And he can't be Lizard Man because the title belongs to Sony. This is why you haven't seen these characters in these movies. Doc Ock was the only one y'all let come over. And then y'all let him come over from the previous Spider-Man movies. The Andrew Garfield, the Tobey Maguire. But that Tom Holland, that's your moneymaker. That's what y'all wanted to do. That's what you want to hold off on. And now that you're trying to sell it back to Marvel, bro, the damage has been done. If I was Marvel, I have my team of writers right now. Put somebody on the side. Let's go through that. You got time. What, 2 years? Perfect timing. So what are you going to do? All your movies got to connect. When you bring this Spider-Man stuff back out, you got to have them based off the one we got now. After the spell is cast, but nobody remember who he is. Let's build these characters back up. Let's build us a new Rhino. Let's build us a new Kraven the Hunter. Let's build us a new Morbius. Let's do all of that in order to save Spider-Man. Let's get rid of that universe. Hell, my personal opinion, I'll bring over the Matter that we got now. The Dakota Fanning one. Dakota Johnson. Perfect person. Bring her over. She's going to be in a dream state anyway for Peter Parker. Might as well do it. Why not? What do you got to lose? You in a rebuilding stage. Let's do that. But that's for neither here nor there. So for that being said, Sony Pictures, Amy Pascal, you're throwing in the lion's den. Get them out of here. Well, I'd like to thank y'all for my rant on the topics that I had today. This episode was called I Know What You Did, and it was funny. Very passionate about a few things on here. I apologize if I no, I don't. So it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you for witnessing our first segment to the Lions Den. I love you. See you when I see you. Peace.